We love El Diamante. Again, when we were writing down the wish list for week one, there were some people that had to be a part of it, and you see him right there, immortalized. That's the hat made famous in the MMA world by the great Dustin Poirier. Of course, there have been others who have worn it. Marvin Hagler made it very, very famous back in the day. But when you see this now, you think of Dustin Poirier, and that's an incredible compliment. He is El Diamante. He is the pride of Lafayette, Louisiana. There he is, our guy. Warhead right there. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. I see you got the little new set right there. I see the war hat, but where the hell's the picture at? Don't do me like that.
It's so I'm moving things around. Don't worry. The picture is I have the picture. It's right over there. We're moving things
Man,
around.
it's a glamour shot, bro. The lighting was nice.
You liked it?
It was a good picture, Ariel.
This
Don't
is
don't do this.
okay, but like this is literally above my shoulder 24/7. Like it's right there. Every shot the war hat is there. You know that, right?
All right, salute. I appreciate it.
That's for you, man. That's only for you, not for anyone else. It's great to see you. And by the way, earlier in the day, we spoke to a teammate of yours. We've had 3 ATT fighters in a row here. We spoke to Renato Moicano, and we were going through people who he'd fight. And he mentioned you in this list, and I was like, "You'd fight Dustin Poirier?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "Wait, listen to this." He goes, "No, no, 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 no. I would never agree to fight Dustin Poirier because I would never agree to a fight that I know I would lose. I train with that guy every day. I'm losing to that guy." And he kept repeating how much he loves you and respects you. I misunderstood him. So I just wanted to tell you, Renato thinks you smoke him.
Dude, he knows. This guy beats me up in the gym. He knows the truth.
Well, it was nice to see
And
that.
now and I like the guy, hard worker. What you see is what you get. And actually, I ran into him. I might have been working for ESPN. I ran into him in Vegas, and I told him, "Hey, if you need me to come out, I would love to help. If you need a southpaw who has experience fighting the guy." This was weeks, maybe 5 weeks before his fight. But nah, that's my teammate, and he's been my teammate for a while.
Yeah, and he's crushing it. And he just beat the guy that you beat back in March, who a lot of people thought you wouldn't beat and thought he was going to be the boogeyman at 155. What did you think of that performance?
Dude, so I can't bet on the fights, but
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
around me at my gym, at my buddy's gyms here in Lafayette, I'm telling you guys, bet on Moicano. He's gonna beat this guy. At the money line, it was like plus what was he 200, two something. I'm like, dude, this is free money. Bet this. I train with this guy all the time. I fought this guy. I know what's gonna happen here. All right, MMA, you never really know, but I was like, he's gonna win this fight.
And did you honestly, did you think that I don't want to say easily, nothing's easy in fighting, but that dominantly?
No, dude. So Moicano's strength, he's tall and lanky, but he's one of the strongest guys I've ever felt at 155 pounds.
Wow.
And and his jiu-jitsu technique is incredible. And he's really good at taking your back. And once he gets your back, dude, until the bell rings, you're probably going to be stuck there. Has some of the best rear naked chokes I've ever felt in my life. But I didn't think he was going to go in there and just demolish him the way he did.
And could I just ask, like, at the beginning of this year, I think a lot of people I know, they were predicting, all right, BSD probably end of 2024, number one contender, maybe champion if things go his way. Now he's facing two really bad losses, and kind of back there in the rankings, if you will. Do you think he can turn it around? Are these the types of losses that can, derail you for a long time? Your read on where he's at now towards the end of the year.
I don't know, Ariel. I don't know his mindset personally. Um, but I believe like anybody can turn anything around and reach their goals if they're committed enough, determined enough, take the lumps and learn and grow. He can do anything. He's still young, great athlete, blood and guts fighter. He has the ingredients to be whatever he wants to be. It's just his mindset, what he's going to do with that, and take how he's going to come back from these losses. That's all on him. Only he knows that. So that's fighting, though.
Yeah. Amen. All right. So, it's funny. The last time we spoke, it was right after the Islam fight, and you were very much on the fence about your future. You never quite retired in the ring or in the cage, but very much on the fence. I said to you, I hope respectfully that I don't believe you are done, that I think that you are going to come back. Since then, it's been a constant stream of Uno Mas and fight news coming, tweets and Instagram stories and all this stuff. And so can we at least officially say you are going to fight again? The idea of you retiring is dead for now.
I will fight again. It's just how this thing unfolds is gonna. We'll see when I do retire. Could be uno mas, could be dos mas. I had a good meeting at the UFC headquarters. I was out there with Celsius at a trade show, and I had a good meeting. So I could come back, and then so my goal is to get a fight, get an event here in Louisiana, whether that's Lafayette, Louisiana, New Orleans. I want to lay the gloves down where I started fighting.
Hmm.
That's my goal. Um, just opponent availability, what makes sense. And these guys behind the scenes, people don't understand this. These shows are booked a year in advance. Like I think a few months ago we were speaking about it, and he was already booked his pay-per-views all the way through August or something like that. So it's hard to just throw things together last second. It takes a lot of planning with these. There's a lot of moving parts with these big UFC events. But my goal is to take my gloves off in Louisiana and retire home.
When you said that, by the way, I literally got like a rush of chills down my spine. Like that, because you've invited us along the journey, because of Fightville, because we know how much Louisiana means to you, that would be one of the great scenes in the history of the sport. How confident, to your point, it's tough to plan these things out. How confident are you that this could happen? They were supposed to do that New Orleans show a few years back with DC. It didn't work out. How confident are you that they can actually get it
I
done this time?
I fought on that one. Yeah, that was maybe 15 or 2016
Yep.
at the Smoothie King Center
Yep.
where the Pelicans play. I fought on that card. That's the last time they came here.
Yep.
Uh, I'm about 95%
Oh, wow.
sure that we get this done. It's just for me on my part is do I fight before that? Because the longer I'm away from the sport, I just feel removed and I'm not with everything, not training every single day. I might train 3 times a week. I'm always staying in shape, but just technique and fundamentals and things you have to be on the mats every day. I don't want to wait, you know, until summer or end of next year if they before they can come back to Louisiana is what I'm trying to say. So maybe I
Ah.
need a fight before then just to stay in the mix, stay fresh so I can retire how I want to be on top.
What are you leaning towards? Like just waiting for that one and done, or two more?
I don't want to it might be dos mas because I don't want to wait a year. I don't know when the exact date of Louisiana, if it comes together, when that would be. But that's my goal. If we can do it sooner, it would be uno mas.
Yeah, yeah. That would be the perfect scenario, right? One last one in Louisiana and you say goodbye. The question is, because it's not happening
The
anytime
waiting. I don't
soon.
want to be on the
Yeah.
shelf. Yeah, I don't want to be on the shelf for that long because also I'm not asking. And nowadays, everybody in the UFC is dangerous. I'm not asking for like a favorable fight. I want the hardest guys I can get. I was asking for Gaethje, asking for Hooker. So I want hard fights. I'm not trying to not get beat up. I want to fight. It's just the availability and the time frame. We'll see.
How is your body though? That could dictate the timeline as well. How's your body feeling?
I'm 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 healed up, man. I did therapy, a bunch of therapy sessions on my knee. My ribs healed up on their own. It took a while. My nose, I can't breathe, but everything else is good.
Damn. And so the note, like how, yeah, I hear it. How difficult is that? Just day to day life, or when you get punched?
No, the punching is the way it is now with the cartilage destroyed and the bones broken. The punching's great. My eyes don't get watery. Nothing happens, but it's the breathing, it's the sleeping, the training. I'm in 5 round fights a lot. I need to be able to breathe good. I can't be out there with my mouth wide open.
Right.
It's a lot of things. But as you know, I would have been on this show yesterday. I was in Nashville, Tennessee at Vanderbilt, gonna have a, a complete reconstruction of my nose. And at pre-op, they like pulled the plug on it, say, hey, if you're gonna fight again, we can't do the surgery because it's probably gonna get messed up. They have to rebuild it, and with the bone grafts and stuff they have to do to keep my septum from collapsing, my nose is gonna be more rigid. So any shot to the face straight on hard is gonna mess it up. And they said a second surgery would be a nightmare for the surgeons. So they really recommend me to wait off on it. And so I just flew back home.
Wow. And yes, you did tell me that. I didn't know if you wanted that out there. So, thank you for sharing. But I'm just curious, like you fly all the way, you think you're going to get your nose fixed, you think you're going to start to be able to breathe again, and you're literally at pre-op and they say, no, sorry. Mentally, is that a tough thing to overcome?
It was kind of a relief, honestly, dude, because my
Oh,
my wife flew out there too. That sucks. So we had like just a couple of days of dead time in Nashville. We got to go see some stuff, but I thought I was having surgery. Mentally, it was a relief because I was like, oh, I'm not, because they had to break it in a few different spots
oof.
and remove a lot of my septum. So I didn't have to have surgery. That's a good part, but the breathing is the bad part.
Just curious about the timeline. If you would have had the surgery, when could you have returned? And did that kind of fit into the uno versus dos mas plans?
So the bones would be set at 8 weeks after surgery. So I was thinking right after Thanksgiving or beginning of December, I could start getting my face squeezed on and grappling and getting hit again. And then I would have to do a camp from there. So I would think like the first quarter of next year was a possibility if things made sense.
Okay, but now that's all out the window.
Yeah, so now I can fight whenever.
Speaking of your wife, you did tell us she wanted you to retire. She was asking you to retire. How did you, how did you cross that bridge with her?
Because I think she's been with me from the jump, as people know who's followed this story or follow my life. But she just wants me to be happy. She doesn't want me to leave everything I have in the octagon, but she also wants me to walk away. I deserve to walk away, she thinks, from the sport. Uh, Trying to see the right word for this.
Yeah.
Content with everything. You know.
Was that something? No, I mean, you're a grown man. I'm sure she respects your wishes, but like, was that something that you had to sit down and not like pitch her on it, but like explain to her where you're coming from, or is it just a thing like, hey, you're having coffee, I'm coming back, that's it, we move on?
I mean, it was definitely a few different conversations over the last few months. But during one of these conversations, she just like took a breath and said, "Here we go again. Let's go."
Yeah.
Like, so she's in. She's in.
Can I ask about the mental side of things? Like you getting to the place where you're on the fence in June in Newark to now, like you're talking about one or two. What was that journey like? How did you get to the point where you're like, okay, I am not done?
Healing up, taking a step away from the sport, letting things unfold, getting back in the gym slowly. Emotions, and I've been fighting a long time. Emotions and everything, especially after a big fight like that and another fall, another loss when I was trying to accomplish everything I set out to do. It just really hurts. So emotionally, sometimes I jump the gun, and also in the back of my head, I know I'm close to the end. But also, I know on the double-edged sword, also I know I can beat these guys. So just win is enough. Uh, one or two more.
Okay. Correct me if I'm recalling incorrectly. You did tell me after the fight that if you would have won, you would have retired, right? If you would have won the belt, you would have retired, right? So,
100%, 100%.
now that you're not in the title chase, so to speak, what is the motivation to keep fighting? Is it just to go out on a win? Like, you fought Dan Hooker, you fought Justin Gaethje. Like, what is keeping you around ultimately?
So I think the real answer to that is just to be completely content. Like I would love to lay my gloves down at home and never fight again. Finish here in front of my Louisiana friends and family, the people who have been supporting me since I was 17 years old through fighting. Um, and to go out on top, to show like I'm leaving, but I still have it. That's like important to me too. Like I'm not getting squeezed out. Anything could happen. I could lose two more. And then I'm one of those guys who got squeezed out of the sport. I want to beat these guys, tough fights, and walk away on top. Like this guy left when he was still on top of his game. That's important to me. That's how I want my story to be.
If the timing doesn't work out for whatever reason and you can't finish in Louisiana, how much will that upset you?
It would suck because that's what I really want.
Hmm.
And I need to get back on the phone and sit down with Dana and Hunter and figure out exactly what time frame we're looking at and what matchups make sense. If I do have to take another one, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to get it done. And that's something special to me. Like being the reason an event comes back to Louisiana and fighting in front of my people here and putting on a war. That's what I want.
Could I ask if you could lay out Dos Mas, who are the guys you're fighting? Who do you beat first, and then who do you beat in Louisiana?
Dude, it changes from week to week, month to month. This landscape of fighting is so crazy. Me and Gaethje are 1-1. I would love to do the last fight with him in Louisiana.
Oh,
Our first fight was in his backyard. Our second fight was in neutral ground. The third one, let's do it in my backyard.
that would be sick. You versus Hooker would be sick too. That first fight was incredible.
Yeah, for sure, man.
You versus Diaz is still the one I want to see. I don't know if I feel like
Well, get him. Yeah, I'll do that one. I'll do that one in Louisiana.
that would be
Get
incredible.
Diaz in the UFC, and I'll meet him at 170.
Were you and Connor both at like the same convention or something? I saw a video where someone said Dustin's right over there. Did you see each other? in Vegas?
No, so dude, that was crazy. I had just finished my signing for Celsius, and I'm partners with the seltzer water called Hop Water. So I was walking over to their um, booth to meet some people, and Connor was behind me apparently.
Wow.
And my agent was walking behind me, and he grabs me. So Connor might have saw the back of my head. I don't know. I didn't see him. He grabs my shoulders and says, "Hey, go this way to the right, to the right." So we start walking to the right. I'm like, "The booth is right there." We start walking to the right, and then once we get clear of everybody, he's like, "Dude, we almost had a big problem."
Oh
And
man.
that's what that was.
What do you think would have happened if you saw each other? What do you think happens?
I don't know, bro. We just have such a long history. He said some foul things. You ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah, yeah.
You know when Peter and the chicken run into each other?
Mm, tell me about it.
They freaking go on this crazy fight. They're falling down hills. They're fighting for an hour. You know, that's what would have happened.
You think so? You think you guys would have fought
Yeah, for sure.
because of what he said about your family?
Yeah, and just everything we have over the past however many years since our first fight.
But
For sure we would have.
after the second fight, it was so cordial.
Yeah, but it's not anymore.
Okay. Do you think you would have ignited that, or him, or just like the two of you just seeing each other would have
Yeah,
combust?
just the both of us. I believe both of us.
He said
That's what
afterward.
I told. Once my guy walked us away and told me what just happened and why we had to make that short right, I was like, dude, for sure. If we'd have made, that's what I told him. If we'd have made eye contact, if our eyes would have met, it would have been bad probably.
Wow. Does he factor into these plans at all?
Dude, I don't know if he's ever gonna fight again. Do you?
I think he does. I really do. Honestly. Do you?
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I was kind of like thinking for sure he was at the beginning of his return against Chandler. Then it kept getting drug on, and I don't know.
Him versus Hooker, who wins?
That's a fun fight, man. That's a fun fight. Either guy, I think whoever lands the biggest clean shot first wins.
Hmm. Were you
That's
surprised?
the coin toss.
Were you surprised Chandler moved on and took the Oliveira fight in New York?
No, I'm not surprised, dude, because he's not. He's still very physically fit, but he's not a young man in the sport anymore. You can't wait 2, 3 years and then it get pushed back again and keep waiting. He's at like it's fight or move on, and I think he made the right decision.
Who do you think wins that one?
Chandler and Oliveira.
Yeah.
I think if it depends what mindset Oliveira's in. If it's the same guy who I fought and the same guy mentally who Chandler fought when he was on that run, Oliveira wins.
Wow. Do you think he's that same guy?
It looked like it when he fought Arman. He was in it to the end. He was fighting hard. If he goes in with that same mindset, I think he can win.
You're one of the guys I love talking about fighting and what it does to you, and just like from a broader perspective. And over the last week or so, I don't know if you've seen this online. We've seen some testimonials from MMA legends about what their life is like post fighting. There's one with Shane Carwin that Brendan Schaub spoke about. I don't know if you've seen any of this, and I'm just wondering, when you're factoring your last two fights and the last chapter, are these things that worry you when you're seeing legends talk about this stuff, about the state that they're in and how they can't do certain things? Does this concern you? Does this worry you? Does this factor into your decision making?
I With the Shane Carwin thing, he's talking about more like financial stuff, right?
He was talking all about like his body and his mind and stuff that CTE and things like that.
Yeah, head trauma definitely worries me. But I think I saw a thing him saying he can't like afford his mortgage or rent or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I'm
I'm
not
not worried
talking.
about that.
No, I'm not talking
That
about
part.
finances. I'm talking about just the fighter. The game can eat you and spit you up, right? I'm just. I know you've talked about wanting to be with your daughter, wanting to be able to live a long, healthy life, and so I'm wondering if that has come into play here as you're making these calls.
Yeah, 100% it has, Ariel. This ain't good for you, especially the way I fight. Nobody rides for free in this game.
Hmm.
We're giving up something. We're giving up something every time, every camp. Nobody rides for free. But it's just like an agreement you come to with yourself. Like at the end of this, when I look back in the life I've lived and the life I've provided for my family, starting from the jump, would I have done it again? For sure. For sure. So it's just acceptance and deals you make with yourself. Like whatever you do for a living, I'm sure at the end of it, something's going on. You know, it's just, this is just what I do.
Mm. What about your boy Chris Duncan getting the guillotine a couple weeks ago? You saw that?
Dude, man. Hey, he's a beast, bro. He's so big and strong for 155, and his grappling is underrated, man. One of the best head and arm chokes, Darce choke transitions that I've ever felt.
You teach him that?
I definitely jumped to Gilly on him. I know that much.
Could you imagine, by the way, you jumping to Gilly in freaking Louisiana, and that's like now we need Fightful 2. Like that's legit movie shit.
Right. But since I've been talking about retirement and this is the end, they've actually reached out to me, a few different filming companies, and they want to do something on the retirement and like the last walk and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do something.
Wow.
But the guillotine is always. I know you're into darts. The guillotine is the red bullseye, man.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Is it going to be with the same crew that did Fightful or a new crew, a different crew?
I'm not 100% sure yet. So the same crew reached out to me, but also I have a different crew. I'm just kind of seeing, you know, because like for me, this stuff is serious. Like opening my life and letting somebody into my home and letting somebody into my gyms and what I'm going through. It's just like it's a big deal. I try to block off that energy. That's why I don't even like doing all that embedded stuff or the countdown shows. I hate all that stuff because like I know they're trying to work and do their jobs and get the content, but I'm trying to work myself. I have another man who's trying to hurt me in a few weeks or months, and I just don't like the energy vampires, like people pulling away from me and when I'm focused and in the zone.
No, I totally understand that. Plus, I mean, it's different when you're 16, 17, 18 and you don't have a daughter and you're not married. I know you were with your soon-to-be wife and all that, but like it's a totally different spot in your life. You probably were inviting the cameras back then. You wanted the attention. You wanted to become famous. Now you're like, leave me alone.
For sure, 100%, dude. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't want any distractions at all. Like when I'm in the zone in camp or fight week, you know.
Is this?
That's why a lot of these embedded guys, like on the big fights, I'm like not answering the phone, not going where I say I'm gonna go. I'm like dropping smoke screens.
Oh man, I'm sure they get it. I'm sure they understand because you're always very accessible, or you try to be. By the way, is this BMF tournament thing? Is this a real thing?
I spoke to Dana a few days ago when I was in Vegas, and he was like, "Oh, he didn't understand that I was talking about a one-night tournament. He thought it was going to be like a few months. He doesn't think any athletic commission would sanction a one-night tournament."
Wait, you want to do 2 fights in a night?
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah,
that's
like old school.
That's tresmas then.
That's a good time. That's what that is.
So what did he? Okay, so did he say he said no to one-night tournament? Which, by the way, there are some athletic commissions in the States, maybe not the top ones that would agree to it because we've seen it. But is he open to like it over a couple of shows? Is he open to this idea?
It seemed like he was. Like he was on kind of laughing and smiling and on board with that. Like I never thought about that. That's a great idea. We were talking, but I was like, no, in one night. And he says like, nobody's gonna approve that.
What do you make of the fact that the belt isn't on the line when Max fights next week?
Well, I guess he's the third guy to have the BMF belt. Because Masvidal was still the BMF champion and fighting, and it wasn't on the line.
Yep.
I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me.
It kind of should be in a way, but maybe it's not the same weight class. I don't know. BMF shouldn't really matter when it comes to weight classes. Ilya got his own belt. Did you see that? He somehow got one, and that seems to have irked some people.
Yeah, I saw Max saying his was earned, not bought, or something.
Yeah,
you definitely earned it.
Yes,
Max definitely earned it, dude.
Who do you think wins that?
I'm such a big fan of Max. I don't know. It's hard to ever bet or pick against Max just because he's been around so long and he's fought everybody and he's so good. But Ilya's a handful, man. I mean, I'm excited about this fight card. I'm working for ESPN for that fight.
Nice.
So I'm pumped to see it unfold. I'm a fan of both guys.
Are you going to start doing more of the TV stuff? Is that part of the transition?
I'd like to, Ariel. I enjoy it. I get like butterflies, and live TV is a whole different thing. We can film and edit stuff and mess up, and it can come out perfect. Live TV, when they're talking in your ear, and you have to piggyback off the next person next to you, you can't be lost for words. You have to be on point. That stuff excites me.
What do you like better? That thing where it's like this dance and you only have X amount, or doing like a podcast, a longer form thing? Are you interested in that?
I had a couple offers to start a podcast. It just seems like too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of every week filming for so long, talking about what's going on. I could definitely do it, and I have a lot to say about everything that's going on. I just don't want to be sitting in front of a camera and working with the editing crew and doing all that. I got a lot of other stuff I'm juggling.
Okay. Is it like 5 years from now? What's your main thing? You're done fighting. You're a successful guy. You've made your name. What do you think will be your main day-to-day thing that you're doing?
I'd love to be working in some way with ESPN or some kind of fight media, because I would love to be around the sport. I love this sport. I would love to be around it and still be in people's eyes talking about what's going on. And but I have a few businesses here in Louisiana. I'm going to be busy with business stuff for sure.
Man, I saw Mark Zuckerberg rocking a shirt. Did you see that?
Yeah,
That's
he actually sent me a picture of him when he bought it
that's incredible. Where did he buy that? From your store?
from Paris Inc. Yeah, from a Louisiana grown store.
That's nuts. Are you boys with Zuck? Have you trained with him?
No, I've never trained with him. My buddy Johnny Eblin actually went out to maybe Tahoe or something and trained with him for a week. Um, we'll message every now and then, but he's never asked about training stuff.
Yes. That was not Zuck, but we do have a photo of Zuck rocking your stuff. And that's a pretty, I mean, like, that's one of the most, I don't know, powerful people in the world, in America, just rocking one of your shirts, which is incredible. Are you going to Saudi Arabia for, no, not, yes, Saudi Arabia this weekend. Are you going to Saudi Arabia for Johnny Eblin?
No, all of the coaches, my boxing coach, all the coaches are already out there with him. I wasn't with him during this training camp, so I won't be there. I'll be watching.
Feeling good, looking good. The first fight was tough, but he won.
Yeah, everything I hear, the kid's only getting better, man. He's young in the sport, and he's been good for a long time. And I've been waiting for people to realize how good he is, and I think he's going to continue to do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm very happy to hear all of this. You're back, like you never left. You never actually officially left. You did. A lot of people are asking me in our chat
I'm
here.
back.
You're back, baby.
I'm back, like Anderson Silva.
Yes.
Remember that? Remember that promo? I back.
I back. Trust me, I back. When he came back after the Weidman fight, they're asking you. You did post on your story, fight news coming soon. Is there something to share, or?
There's some things verbally we spoke about that are looking promising, but I can't share yet.
Okay, so we're close to something here. Like there is something imminent. You're not just
Oh, we're
playing.
close. We're close.
Wow. Can you tell us like time frame?
First quarter of next year.
Dang. So it is. It's probably going to be Dos Mas then.
It's looking that way. Like I
Wow.
said, I haven't signed
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but we're just kind of weighing out options and talking about timeframes.
You like it? You like what's being presented to you?
I love the chaos. So if a crazy fight is presented, I gotta do it.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, man. I don't take these chats for granted. I always look forward to them. And this first week for us wouldn't be the same without you. So great to catch up again, and looking forward to all this news, and glad, most importantly, to hear that your body's feeling good, and that you're ready to go.
Thanks, man. And I'm glad to have you back during the week. I was missing out, man. I love hearing these stories and the way you interview these guys. So keep it up, Ariel.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dustin. All the best. Talk to you soon. There he is. The man, Dustin Poirier. Love the chats. What a guy.